he said to tell somebody that this season that you're going through, this struggle that you're going through, this circumstance you're going through, that you will make it. If you believe that, stand on your feet and give your God some praise all over. If you believe you're going to survive this, I may be unemployed, but God is up to something. I may be lonely, but God is up. Slap somebody and tell him he's up to something. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what God is about to bring to pass. But whatever God is about to bring to pass, I'm glad to be in the house of the Lord. God. Bless his name. While you're standing up, I want you to go to the book of Nehemiah, Nehemiah chapter 4, and let's look at verse 1 through 7. Amen. 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 Minister Green, if you'll read for me. So I like when you read. Y'all give her a mic. Get a mic up and let her read for me. Praise God. Let me know we're not playing. Tell somebody, so we're not playing.
We're not playing.
Yes. Nehemiah chapter 4, 1 through 7. There's a couple of words in there I don't know how to pronounce, so I'll just throw it on her. Oh, Lord, have mercy, Jesus. Force to be what you do. Amen.
Try to turn it down. All the lights turn down.
Amen. Amen. Turn 2 up, please. Cut 2 up. Cut 2 up. Nehemiah.
Chapter 4.
Chapter 4.
Verses 1 through 7. Amen?
Amen.
But it came to pass that when Sanballat heard that we built the wall, he was wroth, and took great indignation, and mocked the Jews. And he spake before his brethren in the army of Samaria, and said, What do these feeble Jews? Will they fortify themselves? Will they sacrifice? Will they make an end in a day? Will they review the stones out of the heaps of the rubbish which are burned? Now Tobiah the Ammonite was by him, and he said, Even that which they build, if a fox go up, he shall even break down their stone wall. Hear, O our God, for we are despised, and turn their reproach upon their own head, and give them for a prey in the land of captivity. And cover not their iniquity, and let not their sin be blotted out from before thee, for they have provoked thee to anger before the builders. So built we the wall, and all the wall was joined together unto the half thereof, for the people had a mind to work. But it came to pass that when Sanballat and Tobiah and the Arabians and the Ammonites and the Ashdodites heard that the walls of Jerusalem were made up, and that the breaches began to be stopped, then they were very wroth.
My God. Turn them to that and read back up. So we built the wall, and the wall was joined together unto the half thereof, for the people had a mind to work.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So we built the wall, and all the wall was joined together unto the half thereof, for the people had a mind to work.
Wow.
And I want to come from the subject today, determined to survive the crisis.
My God.
Determined to survive the crisis. Eternal and everlasting God, I bless you, I magnify you, and I glorify you. Have your way into this place, God. Teach us, God, how to serve you, God. Teach us, Lord Jesus, how to walk in step with you, Father. Teach us, God, how to praise you in times of lean times, God. Teach us, God, not to allow our faith to dissipate, Father God, at the sign of trouble, God. But teach us, God, that through it all, to bless your name, Father God. And I thank you, God, for what you're going to do today in this place, God. Touch somebody's heart, God. Touch somebody's mind, God. Touch somebody's spirit, God. Touch somebody's soul today, God, in the name of Jesus, God. And Father God, we promise to give you the praise, the glory, and the honor in the precious and the mighty name of Jesus. Somebody that loves the Lord, this is the last time you got to make some noise unless the Spirit move upon you. Give him a great big old I love you clap right now. Right now. Just open your mouth and tell him I love you, Lord. Amen. You may be seated in the presence of the Lord. Amen. 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 There is some trouble in the house and we need to talk about it today. How many know that even when you're serving the Lord, and even when you've been coming to church faithfully, and even when you've been paying your tithes, and even when you've been trying to live right, trouble will find you. Amen. Nobody is immune to trouble.
Amen.
I don't care how much you pray, trouble will show up on your doorstep sometime. Amen. Amen. And it's not a sign that you're out the will of God because you're being challenged.
Amen.
Do you hear what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Job was minding his business, wasn't doing anything, wasn't bothering anybody. And then one day, Job lost family members. He lost all of his kids. He lost his cow. He lost all of his cattle. He lost all of his livestock. He lost all of his building material. He lost everything in one day.
One thing.
All because trouble found him. Trouble looked down, saw everybody else, and said unto the Lord, I've been going to and fro. And I noticed your servant Job.
Yeah.
He was looking at everybody else, and the Bible said that God asked him, have you considered my servant Job?
Yeah.
He said, yeah, I've considered him, but you got a hedge of protection around him.
Yes.
But if you move that hedge of protection, I'll show you how faithful Job is.
All right, preacher.
And he lost 10 children in one day.
One thing.
But he didn't lose his mind.
All right, preacher.
His wife told him to curse God and die. But he didn't lose his mind.
All right, preacher.
He lost wealth. He lost all types of materialistic things. But the one thing he never did was lose his mind.
All right, preacher.
He kept his faith in the midst of opposition. Job shows us that even in excruciating pain, God still deserves to be worshipped. I wish I had a witness.
Yes, God.
We're coming into this text, and I need to catch you up to speed, amen. I need to catch you up to speed in this. We are looking at a fractured church. We're looking at a fractured group of people. Israel have not adhered to the warnings of God, and God's been telling them over and over again that their desire, their zeal to be like other nations was going to be their downfall.
All right, preacher.
He told them because they were so busy looking at everybody else's house and looking at everybody else's nation till they took their eyes off of God.
All right, preacher.
Now, I don't know who I'm talking to today, but maybe your downfall is that you've been looking at everybody else instead of focusing on God and God's purpose for you. It doesn't matter because somebody else get a car. It doesn't matter because somebody else get a new house. It doesn't matter because somebody else get a marriage. It doesn't matter because somebody else get a new house. The only thing matter is that you stay in the will of God.
All right, preacher.
You have to learn how to keep your focus when everything around you is getting blessed. You have to learn how to keep your focus when everybody else around you seem to be moving up and you seem to be in a stuck mode or you seem to be stagnated. Maybe it's not your season.
All right, preacher.
But it doesn't mean that the season won't change.
All right, God.
I know it feels like summer, but we're actually in fall right now.
All right, preacher.
So the season may change, but the degree of the temptation or the degree of the attacks of the enemy may not change.
All right, preacher.
But if God called you blessed, you're blessed in the struggle. You're blessed on Blessing Boulevard. You're blessed when you're in the house, and you're blessed when you're out of the house. You cannot measure your season of blessing based on materialistic.
All right, preacher. Say that again.
Because there's been some seasons where in December it was still 80 degrees down here.
All right. Amen.
And it felt like summer, but we were really in winter.
All right.
Oh, y'all ain't gonna talk to me. Y'all ain't gonna talk to me because, see, we measure everything by visualization.
That's what we see. Come on.
But
preacher.
faith cometh by hearing, and by hearing the word of God. Y'all hear what I'm saying? So my finances does not have to change for me to be blessed.
All right, Pastor.
I just have to have the mindset that what the Lord has spoken over my life shall come to
My
pass.
God.
And so Israel is fractured. They are fractured. It first started out when they saw the kings of great statues of other nations. And so they looked at Samuel and they said, God, you know, we've been dealing with Eli, and Eli's sons was wicked. They were wicked and they weren't doing what they were supposed to do. And now you raised up Samuel, but Samuel's son, Lord, isn't walking in your precepts and your concepts.
Amen.
We can't afford to have a wicked king leading us. And so, Lord, give us a king like other nations.
Wow.
And so Samuel went to the Lord, and the Lord told him, he said, Samuel, if I give them a king like other nations, he says, this king is going to take their daughters and make them maid service. He's going to take their sons and make them fight in wars that are ill-advised and do some things that I've not told him to do. They'll become footmen and foot soldiers in his kingdom and tell him that eventually his heart is going to pull away from me and all of this stuff. And they said, we don't care. We want king like the rest of the nation.
Wow.
And they saw Saul, and Saul looked the part. He was tall. The Bible said that he was above stature, and he looked like a military warring guy. And he started out good because he realized that he came from the tribe of Benjamin, which was the smallest tribe.
Yes.
And it's something about when you come from a family that is not expected to do a whole lot of stuff, and you become the first king. Y'all ain't gonna talk to me. And you become the first king of the nation. You would think that through your struggles, you would think through humility, you would think through being overlooked and being passed over, that there will be a humility towards you. And he was humble in the beginning. But we know that fame can come and attack the mind of anybody. We know too much success when you're not ready will attack the mind of anybody. And so they heard Samuel, but still cried out for a king. And God said, Samuel, quit whining. These people are not rejecting you, they are rejecting me. And so, see, that's why it don't matter. It doesn't matter to me when I tell people to do something they don't do it, because God said ultimately it's not about you, Grant, it's about me.
All right, preacher.
And see, you have to understand that, and if you don't understand that, the immaturity of you will cause you to do more damage than good, because you think everything is about you.
Wow.
But it's not about you, it's ultimately about God. So when you tell somebody the will of God and the work of God and they ignore it, they're not ignoring you, because it's not about you, but it's about God.
All right, preacher.
And so you have to learn your place. Tell somebody, so you got to learn your place. You can love a person and a person reject you. They're not rejecting you, they're rejecting the God that's inside of you.
Yes, sir.
And you still have to be rejected and still love.
Yes.
Lord,
See, y'all don't understand that. You have to love when you've been rejected.
Lord have mercy.
Yes.
Lord have mercy.
And love is a hard thing to do when you extend it and people turn away from it.
Yes, yes.
Amen. So Israel have become fractured. They are divided in the kingdom. Israel is in the northern part of the region, and Judah is in the southern part of the region. And a house, Jesus said, a house that is divided cannot stand. The enemy is not trying to take the house, the enemy is trying to divide the house.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, y'all missed that. That was good right there. The enemy is not trying to take over your house. He doesn't want your house. He just wants to cause division in your house. He wants the husband and the wife to be at odds. Because if the husband and the wife is at odds, he can stick his feet in and really do what he wants to do, which is to tear down and destroy everything. Look at somebody and tell them he just wants division in the house. He don't want to take over your mortgage payment. He don't want to take over how much property you have. He don't care about the value of your property. He just want to divide the house. Because if he can divide the house, he can stop the house from growing. And if he can stop the house from growing, he can frustrate you to miss your purpose. And you got to have enough sense to rise above the attacks of the enemy. And you can't rise above the attacks of the enemy playing the part that he's assigned to you. Because somebody say, I refuse to play the part that the enemy has given me. He's not the director of my life. He's not the one. He's not the film director. He's not the one. He's not the writer. He's not the author. I refuse to play the part of the enemy. I choose to walk in what God has called me. Because if God has called me blessed, I refuse to be anything but blessed. Y'all not hearing me. So Israel is divided. And he knows that if he can divide him, he can conquer them. And so the Bible is written into this pre-exilic, exilic, and post-exilic times. And so Daniel, Jeremiah, and Ezekiel deal with the exilic times. Because Israel's heart has grown wax to the things of God. And so God allows Nebuchadnezzar to come in and to not only burn the city down and to tear down everything that has a resemblance of God, but he's allowed the enemy to go in and take all of the sacraments out of the house of the Lord. He gives them to a king called Nebuchadnezzar. Yes. Now Nebuchadnezzar is so wicked and so brutal that he's one of the brutalest dictators that's ever ruled the world. When Nebuchadnezzar caught an attitude with you, his punishment would be he would take 2 chariots and he would attack the arms against each chariot. He would attack the legs against each chariot. So the chariots would be side by side. He would put that through. He would take their tongues and cut them out so they couldn't even cry unto God. He would get the reins of the horses and attack the horses so that when the horses came about, that they would split the individual in half. His brutality was to make people fear him. Yes. And so whatever he said will come to pass. It was so much so that in Daniel's days, the king had a special meal for those that would be in his service court. And he had this special wine and this meat. But when you talk about vegan, you're talking about Daniel and Shadrach and Meshach and Abednego. They said, we will not eat of the king's wine and drink of the king's wine and eat of the king's meat. But he said, give us this pulse, which is vegetables. Yes. And allow us to eat this. And then in a certain amount of days come back and see not if our skins are much fairer than the ones that are eating them of the enemy. See, when the enemy gives you something, you don't have to take what the enemy is giving you. Yes. I know it looks good, but y'all ain't gonna talk to me. Yes. He tries to bribe them off. But they said, no, God's been too good to me. Look at somebody and tell them God's been too good for me. God has been too good for me to turn my back and start tripping now. And so the Bible teaches us that King Nebuchadnezzar is in charge of this situation, and Israel is divided. They're divided. And so Ezra's job, which is post-exilic, is to regather the priests together, because the priests have gone off and married strange women. And so they have married strange women, and they have adopted strange worship behavior. And so Ezra's job is to gather those people together. His job is also to begin the reconstruction of the temple. And so Ezra, while he's gathering and separating the priests, those that are truly down with God and those that are down with anything, he's gathering the priests and he's beginning the reconstruction of the temple. Nehemiah's job is to build the wall, because the wall was symbolic of a military. And so how strong your walls were fortified showed how strong you were together. It was a sign of a military force, that a big wall, a strong wall, means that you were well guarded. And so Nehemiah's job was to build the wall. And Haggai's job was to complete, amen, the temple of God. And his job was to encourage the people now that they've been out of exilic time to come back in and worship. So they all had a mission. They all had an assignment. Tell somebody and say, we all got an assignment.
We all have an assignment.
So I'm going to give you 4 things that you can do to change your destiny, the trajectory of where you're headed at. You ready for them? I'm going to give you 4 things that will change the trajectory of what you're headed for and to position you in a place where you can receive the blessings from God. Can I go there? The first thing is that you have to minimize the distractions.
All right.
You have to minimize the distractions. You have to weed out those that are in your circle that are not bringing you any good news.
You better teach it here.
You have to weed out certain people in order to get to what God has for you. Because many times we can't see the blade, of the grass for the weed that is choking you out.
Jesus. Wow.
And so until you learn how to separate some people out of your life, you will never reach your potential because you got too many people speaking in your ear.
Wow, Pastor.
And whether that be friendship or whether that be family members, whether that be church members, everybody that's speaking in your ears, you can't give ear to or give heed to.
All right, preacher.
So you have to weed out your circle. The other thing you have to do is you have to control what you focus on. You can't fix everything.
Come on, Bob.
You got to know when to turn that thing over to the Lord.
Amen.
You can be a super Christian in the church house and be really a failure in God's purpose because you're trying to do everything instead of letting God fix it.
Wow.
And so you are enabling people to continue their destructive ways because you can't turn them over to the Lord.
All right, preacher.
It is not your job to get people saved. It is your job to lead them to Christ. Christ is the one that gets them saved.
All right.
Christ is the one that washed them up. And when you learn how to play the role that God has given you, you'll see the success what God had intended for you.
All right, Pastor. Wow.
So many times I hear people say, I'm going to change him and I'm going to change her. You can't change anything but your underwears and your socks.
All right.
Your clothes. That's the only thing you can change. You can't change nobody. You can't change who you are.
Yes, sir. Change them, brother. Yes, I like that. I like that.
And we hope you're changing all 3 of those, what I said, on a daily basis.
Yes, sir. Wow. Yes, sir.
And so you got to control what you focus on. Tell somebody, say, I got to control what I'm focusing on. When sometimes you at work, you ain't got time to entertain every text come to you.
That's right.
Now y'all can hear what I'm saying. You can't entertain every call that comes to you. Sometimes they ought to get your voicemail until God releases you to answer them. And as long as you allow them to control you, they will hinder you, and you can't get the blessings from God because you're too attached to them. But if you ever cut away from their apron string, if you ever cut away from them, you're going to see a power of God like never before. You got to have the power to walk away. Tell somebody, say you got to have the power to walk away. You got to have the gift to let some people go. Because you're holding on to them and they are enabling you to continue to be your best. And you can't ride holding on to them. They're 35 years old. It's time for them to get off of your breast and live for themselves.
All right. God have mercy. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And we keep running to the store buying milk because we can't give you solid food. Because the moment we give you solid food and challenge you, you don't want to show up. But the devil is a liar. It's time to grow up. Slap somebody and say it's time to grow up. Problem is you want a friend. You don't want to leave.
Jesus.
You want somebody else that you can hang with and paddle with and just clap and play games with. But games are for kids. I think the commercial said tricks are for kids.
Yes, sir. That's the weight on the ball, sir. Come on, baby.
But I don't know the lyrics to the song, but I heard once it comes, said you take the good, you take the bad, you put them together, and that's the facts of life, man. Second thing
Jesus. Lord, have mercy.
you need to do to be in position. You have to have a deaf ear to constant negative criticism.
Yes, yes.
You got to quit letting people fill your ear up. Telling you it's time for you to get married. Telling you it's time for you to walk away. Telling you it's time for you to do this. A time to do that. A time for this. It takes as long as God said it takes.
All right, Grant.
No two people biological clocks are the same.
That's
My
right.
God, Pastor, you preaching. Yes, sir.
And so when you quit measuring your success,
Based on somebody.
and you quit measuring where you at based on somebody else's ministry, based on somebody else's relationship,
Yes.
based on somebody else's signature, then you're able to walk in the provisions that God has for you. But the reason why we can't walk in what God has for us, because we're too focused, we're too busy focused on what somebody else has. And every time God would move us forward, we got to see what they got, because we got to run out and get the next brand new thing. And we're getting in debt, and we're feeling, we're feeding all of these destructive behavior, and we're missing the promise that God has.
You preaching, Grant. You preaching, man. You a preacher.
You got to be able to afford some stuff and don't buy it until God says do
Yes,
it.
sir. Talk to me, Pastor. Yes, sir.
If every time you get frustrated, you go out and buy something, you'll be broke all the time. Get in a corner and say, God, I'm not going to be like a little child, catch a temper tantrum. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to wait on you, Lord.
This is good teaching, church.
Hallelujah.
This is not, you better teach it here. Yes, sir.
You got to learn how to invest your energy wisely. You don't have time to keep chasing down every room. Folk gonna talk about you.
Anyhow.
If you come to the church, they're gonna talk about you. Some gonna say you're dressed too long and you look crazy. Some gonna say you're dressed too short and you look crazy. Somebody gonna say that your outfit didn't fit. Somebody gonna say you got glasses and I thought the Lord was blessed. Everybody's gonna talk about you, but you gotta learn how to be comfortable in your own skin.
My God, Pastor. Just know who you are.
Let them talk about you. What difference does it make because they're talking about you? Well, I don't think he's anointed because he got on a pair of jeans and he got on a shirt. At least he got on clothes. At least he got sense enough to come in the house of the Lord and worship the Lord. Invest your time wisely.
Yes, sir. This is TBN stuff. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Next thing you gotta do is you gotta resist the temptation to respond to everything. You gotta walk by some stuff
Please help me. Yes,
and pray.
yes, sir.
You gotta walk by certain stuff and pray. Because you'll go crazy trying to address and entertain everything. You gotta know what to entertain and what not to entertain. You gotta know how to be silent. Because somebody said you gotta learn how to control your mouth. It's your mouth that's got you in trouble. I know you say, let's be real. Let's keep it real. Let's tell the truth. But some of you in the trouble you're in right now because you've been keeping it real. You could have had that job, but you had to keep it real. You could have had that relationship, but you kept it real. You kept it so real till you're by yourself right now because you won't control your mouth. Tell somebody to say, shut your mouth.
Shut your mouth.
That's your worst problem right there, your mouth. Because you can't control that mouth. You think you got to address everything, but God didn't call you to address everything. He said, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. I'll fight your battle. This battle is not chose, but the Lord's on. God, I feel like preaching in here. Every time you try to fight, you get out of God's protection and you stand by yourself. And you're no match for the enemy without God.
All right, preacher.
Michael said, and the Lord rebukes you.
Yes, sir. That's right.
He said, I don't have the power to rebuke you by myself, but I come in the authority of the Lord, and the Lord rebuke you. Look at somebody and say, the Lord rebuke you.
The Lord rebukes you.
Roll your eyes, turn your lips up, talk about me, do what you want to you got to feed your faith and starve your fears.
Oh my God.
Your faith is on trial. And you got to learn how to feed your faith and starve your fears. The Bible says that the just shall live by faith. You ain't got no business living based on somebody else's opinion.
All right.
You don't have no business worrying about what somebody think about you, whether somebody calls you to preach, whether somebody calls you to sing, whether somebody calls you to acknowledge you. You got to know who you are in the Lord. The just shall live by faith.
The just. Amen. That's
Not the ones that want to be seen, but the just
wow.
shall live by faith.
Say so, preacher.
The Bible says God is not giving us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. Tell somebody, say, I got a sound mind. I got power and I got love. And I won't let you take that away from me because you're in a bad mood and you got a bad attitude. The devil is a liar. I'm going to speak to you anyway. You ain't got to speak back to me, but as long as I give my part.
Yeah, you preaching there. Yes, sir.
I'm not. I give my part.
Yeah, you doing your second.
That's all I want to do. I want to do my part.
That's the Holy Ghost. Yeah.
Whether you receive it or not, that's on you, but I want to do my part. Because I got to be able to fight this crisis. I'm determined to get out of this crisis. And if I'm determined to get out of this crisis, I ain't got time to let somebody sidetrack me and pull me out of the way of God. Because I'm fighting for my life. How about somebody told me I'm fighting for my life? I'm trying to get my marriage back together. I'm trying to get my relationship back with God. I'm trying to get my health together. I ain't got time to find out who's sleeping with who's going with who. I ain't got time to find out what's happening on the young and the restless. I ain't got time to find out what's happening on the bold and the beautiful. Green leaf or nothing else. I gotta get my mind together.
All right, preacher. The green leaf, Bishop. Yes, sir. Yes.
I don't care whether they kill Canaan, Ghost, Tommy, Tasha, it don't even matter. If Angela died, that's all right. As long as I got Jesus on the they can kill all of them as long as they don't touch my Jesus. They can be replaced, but the Jesus in my life can't be replaced. You better hear me. You gonna go crazy over Lucius Lyons and all of those people right there, but I care about Jesus. I care about the one that died for me. I care about the one that woke me up, stood in my place, took the punishment that belonged to me, and started me on my way.
All right, Bishop.
Jesus.
Showing out. Yes, sir. That's all right.
John 10:10 said, the thief cometh but to steal, kill, and destroy, but I come that you may have life and have it more abundantly. Find somebody and say, he comes that I may have life. But he comes for you to have life. You don't have time to be complaining. You don't have time to be whining. But you got to gird up your loins and stand on the word of God and declare in this place that I will let nothing separate me from the love of God. Neither angels nor demons, principalities, neither life nor death, neither width nor depth, they separate me from the power of God. Because God, He's able. Because God, He's faithful. Because God, He's just. Well, let me go ahead. on rock. That when the wind and the storm beat against it, it withstood the test of time. But therefore, whosoever that heareth my word and doeth not what I liken him to a foolish man that built this house so sad. And I want to take this last 10 minutes and to tell you to come out of feeling sorry for yourself. Some of you built your dream on sand that was eroding. Soon as you put a weight on it, now you're wondering why everything went south, because it wasn't ordained by God. But if you had built it on a rock, it would have stood the test. Had you built it on a rock, you would have been here today. Had you built it on a rock, you would have known that this too shall pass. And I come out to tell you, just because you fail, that means you can't get up. But arise, because the enemy wants you to be down. But arise, because you got power in Jesus. Well, arise, because it ain't over yet. Well, arise, because you're coming out of the season. Go to hostile somebody and tell them I'm coming out of the season. I shall not be broken, frustrated and disgusted. I shall not be frustrated, aggravated and depressed. But I'm going to tell it that because he lives, I can face tomorrow. Because he lives, I can do all things through Christ Jesus. If you believe that, stand to your feet. If you believe that, make some noise. Feeling sorry for yourself, feeling sorry for you, but you got to praise him. You got to rise. I wish I had somebody that will rise. I wish I had somebody that would jump, that would leap, that would go tell somebody how awesome your God is, how powerful your God is, how wonderful your God is. He's a lily in the valley. He's a bright and morning star. He is my Alpha and Omega. He is my joy. He is my Somebody wants some anointing. I dare you to reach in your pocket, get $1 and sow it on the word right now. Grab something and sow it on the word right now. It will change. When I learned about season, that in the land, the word season means to sow into something. You better sow into your future. You better sow into your success. You better sow into your blessing. You better sow into your turnaround. You better sow into it. The Lord, the Lord, who's mighty and strong. The Lord that is able. The Lord that is faithful. I'll enter into his gates with thanksgiving and be exceedingly. Hallelujah. I will rejoice. For this is the day that the Lord has made. I'm determined to survive this crisis. I'm determined to come out of this thing. You see me now. But God is not through with me yet. But when he gets through with me, I shall come forth as pure gold.
That's pure gold. Yes, sir.
Jesus.
The devil will not rob me,
No, sir.
will not destroy me.
No, sir.
I shall come forth
Yes, sir.
as pure gold. He's not doing me yet. See, some of you don't understand, but he's not doing me yet. His glory is so awesome. See, some of you fail to realize that you're living your best time right now.
Jesus.
The reason why it doesn't feel like it's your best time is because you're focused
On it. That's right.
on your past.
On your past. My God, man.
I told you last week, your past is your history.
Yes.
Tomorrow
It's a mystery.
is a mystery.
Yes, sir. It's,
But today
it's a present.
is a
sir.
gift from
Yes.
God. That's why it's called a present.
Yes, sir.
God's giving you a present right now. When he woke you up, he gave you a present.
Yes, sir. That's good, preacher.
I wouldn't let a man or a woman, I wouldn't let a job, I wouldn't let no money, I wouldn't let a substance drive me out of his presence.
All right, Pastor.
God has presented you before his heavenly throne. And he said, that's my son. That's my son. Listen, I want you to do something for me. I want you to do something for me. But I want you to be led by the Lord, but I want you to do something for me. I want you to look around. I don't care if it's to me or anybody else. Whoever the Lord leads you to give a hug, I want you to get up and hug them right now. I want you to hug them right now, and I want you to say something positive in their life. I want you to speak in their life right now. I want you to speak in their life right now. We're not going to do an altar call. You're going to be the altar. You're going to be the altar. You're going to be the altar today. You're going to be the altar today. You're going to be the altar today. I want you to embrace them. I want you to tell them something. I want you to tell them something positive. I want you to tell them something that even in this crisis, you're going to make it. You're going to make it. You're going to make it. I want you to encourage them to be determined to make it through this crisis. You don't know what they're going through. You don't know what they're struggling with. You don't know the half of it. But if you can determine, if you will be determined to make it, God will do something. God will do something awesome in your life. God is not doing this. It's time to grow. 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 He loves you. Listen, he loves you. Haven't seen you in a while, but he loves you. Haven't been in your presence, but he loves you. Haven't talked to you all week, but he loves you. He loves you. Come on, be the altar. Be the altar. Be the altar today. Be the altar today. Be the altar today. Be the altar today. Come on and be the altar today. Come on, everybody needs encouragement. Everybody needs encouragement. Everybody needs encouragement. Everybody from the pulpit down to the back needs encouragement. Come on, encourage them. Encourage